You see how the feds ran in Adam's crib, right? They ran in Adam's crib. Adam said, yo, they just wanted a cease and desist letter. Adam was instructed to say that. Yeah, he was instructed to say that. Come on now. That's something people got to understand. He was instructed to tell people that they was just there for a cease and desist letter. And I'm sure some people believe that. They really thought, yeah, they only came to Adam for the cease and desist letter. Come on, man. It's a lot going on at that building. It's a lot going on at that building. You know, think about this though, right? Adam posted that shit online. He posted this shit online. The feds can go back and get the video. They can go back and get whatever. They don't need that. They can go back and get the information. They don't need that specific thing from Adam. You know, and then you pay attention when the situation happened. What Wack was doing. Yeah, I'm going to send my lawyer. Now, the situation had already happened where they didn't beat the people up out front. Wack is playing around talking about, yeah, I'm going to send my lawyer. I'm going to send my lawyer. Like, Adam needs your lawyer. It's a lot of lying going on to the people. The people are easily influenced and manipulated, man. And I'm just got to be real, man. They easily influenced and manipulated. And, you know, I give out the jewels, right? And I break it down with facts. I got to put that work in for them to push me. If I was on here lying and manipulating, they would be pushing me all the way across this joint. Straight up. If I sat here and lied every day, manipulated, you know, and try to make you believe of some old foo-fa-fi shit, they would be pushing me around the internet heavy because I'm making sure the agenda continues. When you don't make sure the agenda continues, you got to pump hard. You got to pump through the system because the system is designed to manipulate people. That shit ain't designed to enlighten you because when you enlighten people, you mess up the program. It's a program. Everything in life that they want to push is deception. Straight up. It's all deception. They're not pushing no truth. They don't want to enlighten you about shit. They want to deceive you. So it keep you on a hamster wheel. This shit that they be creating and putting out, you pay attention. People go out here and work hard, right? And they keep putting shit out here in the world for you to spend your damn money on, and you don't get a chance to save $1, right? It's all deception. They putting the same shit out there and putting a twist to it and make you think it's something. That's what they do with the damn phones. Straight up. You think you getting something. Oh, yeah. You see one feature on the phone. They done manipulated the world with the phones. Because listen, everybody has to have a cell phone. Miss M, I appreciate the super chat. We are tired of whack fake everything, including R&B. Straight up, appreciate that. The manipulation, right? Even with the phone, they know that nobody's leaving the house without the phone. This is the manipulation they done put on the whole entire world now. Nobody's leaving. You're not going nowhere without your cell phone. You feel like you left something. You lost something. So, of course, they going to mentally play on it. Everything is lies on the phone. It's a whole bunch of BS. The game. But they not going to tell you the real because they want to keep you lost. They got people like Wack out here running these lies around the clock, manipulating people. And they got him plastered. Straight up. You know, they ain't stopping him. Now, if you get on here and start saying some real shit, They want to dumb you down. Yeah, they don't want to push you because they want to make sure, oh, you enlighten too much. Why wouldn't they push the real shit if it's going to help the people? Because they don't want to help people. They not going to push that. You see how much these lies is pushed? Everybody can see that. They didn't got the mind programmed into being all right with the lie. It's a lot of AI shit. They got the mind programmed in gravitating to the lie. You get to believe in the lie. Like I see some people be sending me shit that I know ain't right. I just know it ain't right. I'm like, man, this ain't right. Hold up. But this is what they got us programmed on. You know, it's about programming us. Everything is about programming us. When they roll shit out, when shit happen in this world, how can we program the people's mind? All right, put this out this way. Send this here. Push this here. Promote this here. This platform got a whole bunch of followers. Send it to them. You know, when you reach a certain level of influence, they want to control the influence you put out. This is why Wack is allowed to do what he's doing and don't nothing happen. Because they want that influence out there. You understand, when Wack do what he's doing, it brings them information. Straight up. When Wack does what he does on the internet, it brings the authorities information. Why would they stop that? There's no reason to stop that. It's helpful to their program. So they put a joker like Wack out there in front of everybody and manipulate the shit out of the people. And they got these niggas out here thinking that Wack is somebody he's not. Man, Wack is them folks. They got people thinking Wack is somebody. Nah, he them folks. He done manipulated the gang members with the on Paru shit. Straight up. It done manipulated them. Yeah. That nigga don't care about Paru. That nigga don't care about none of that. But he done manipulated the people. On Paru. On Paru. That nigga don't care about no damn Paru. Paru ain't paying that nigga bills. Paru ain't giving that nigga no damn money. Why would he care about Paru? But the gang members don't understand that though. They feed back into it with him. Yeah, on the dead homies. On 6-0. Put that on your neighborhood. The boy tell everybody that the gang members are dumb. He says it out his own mouth, right? But then get in a conversation with them, put that on your neighborhood. And they fall for it every single time. It's easy to manipulate them because they living by politics that ain't real, that have been made up, and you think it's real because you live by it. We understand this, right? Whatever you think is your reality is real to you. Whatever you wake up and you say is the reality is real to you, because the shit in the world is fake. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if, you know, people really understand that, right? But the shit is fake. We live, right? We hear and we see and think it's real, but the shit fake, man. Understanding that you don't know 4 generations before you, right? And you got to remember that 4 generations before you, they woke up every day and lived life in that time, just like you living life in this time, right? And you don't even know them. You don't know who they are. They your family members, but you don't know nothing about them. Never seen them before. Don't know shit about them. But they did different though with the times now. They started creating the internet and shit. So it makes it where you have the opportunity to go back and see if they got a social media. They created this shit. Now you can go back and see if when you pass, if you got a social media, now generations from now, somebody can go back and look up. Okay, boom, boom, boom. But the shit ain't real. You know, it's why I say in life, right? It's no need to stress over certain things that you can't control. Some things you gotta just let it go. You can't control it, just let it go, because it really don't mean that much. Your mind has been programmed to think that it means that much. This is what they do to us. You know, we get up and go to work. We get up and do what we got to do to survive. But our mind has been programmed that means the world to us. That means the most. But it's only to keep the world running. And they got certain people that they put in front of us that make us see how good they doing to keep you striving to try to do better so that the world can continue to operate. And the world's never going to stop operating because they have found how to mentally control the world. So it's never going to stop operating. You understand what I'm saying? They found out how to mentally control how we operate and how to keep us on a hamster wheel and how to keep us moving and moving. So it's never going to stop operating. But just understanding that it's a mind trick. You know, they tell us that we own shit. We don't own nothing. You know, it's everything is deception, man. You know what I'm saying? The shit that WACK is doing, everything. That's why I'm telling you, these dudes can't mess with me, man. That's why when I tell you I'm smarter than these dudes, you know, I get on here and talk about WACK, you know, because I understand how to break him down and I know he ain't right, right? And, you know, it is what it is. The people listen to it and, you know, I'm putting him out there, but I understand how this shit operates. You know what I mean? It's a big game mind trick, you know, and we're used against each other, you know, understanding, right? Just being real. The black people have a lot of talent, right? We are, you know, the culture that's the most physically talented, you know, but they make sure that they keep us dumb while they let the other cultures get mentally talented and strengthened mentally, because we got the most talent physically. They can't allow us to get mentally and physically talented. They can't allow that. So they have to keep people like WICKED100 out there pressing this shit on us so that we don't get mentally talented. You got to pay attention to the game. They know if we get mentally talented with the physical talent, we going to be a problem. So we got to be controlled and not be mentally talented. You know, you got some individuals that are, right? Straight up. We got some people that are, and the ones that are, you see, they separate. Nah, because they know that the agenda is so pushed towards your own people that you can't help them. Yeah, you can't help them because the next person's always trying to steal and rob from the next person. And, you know, when you get around, and it's like physical, you know, you got some black people that will scam and all that. Yes. But black people will physically steal and rob before anything. You know what I'm saying? They get around you. The first thing they think about, I'm going to break in this nigga's house. Oh, you doing good? You bring a nigga over your house. First thing they think about, man, I'm going to come back, kick the fucking door in. You like, damn. Next thing you know, nigga in your house. They ready to tell, man, we going up in here tonight. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, it's a dirty game in life. And, you know, they put certain people to keep the agenda going. You know, it's a lot of manipulations out in the world and everything, man. You know, life is based off hope. Everybody wakes up every day hoping. They hoping to do better. They hoping to get more. They hoping. Straight up. It's based off hope. You hope. Man, I'm hoping. Then if you get the right relationships and situations, then when you get in position from having the right relationship and situation, you look at it like, man, I did that. Man, it was that you was placed in the position. You know, this shit's all mental, man. I can't even lie. This shit all mental, man. You know, but what I did notice, right, is that they bunch us together so much that we don't get the time to be able to evaluate it. Because you got this person thinking weird, you got this person thinking crazy, you got this person doing this, and they all around you, and it doesn't give you the time to get clarity of anything because it's too much of this shit bouncing in your damn brain. You know, people don't want to take the time to be to themselves. They don't want to take the time to see what's going on to themselves because they got all these damn people around them. And it's not good to be around a lot of people all the time. That shit is bad. It's bad. You know, because you got this person with this idea. That shit bad. You need time to yourself to be able to understand yourself, to be able to understand who you are. Because majority of the people in the world don't even understand who they are at all. They wake up every day and really don't even know who the hell they are. They just waking up living and they think that they doing something. They don't even know who the hell they are. You know, and when you young, for a fact, you don't know who you are at all. But everybody thinks they know who they are when they're young. You start developing as a teenager and you think you know who you are. You don't know who you are. You don't even know the things you're going to really like because you haven't done enough. You haven't experienced enough to understand what you really like. You don't know. When you get older, if you had the time to experience things and, you know, be in your own zone, you start to develop what you like, what you don't like, who you like to be around, who you don't like to be around. But if you got a whole bunch of people around you and you easily influenced with the influence that they push on us, you never take the time to evaluate that shit. You just go with the influence. For you know it, you still laws. They didn't put the liquor legally. They didn't put the bud legally. They done did all this shit, right? Then put it out there and it's legal. But it's all poison. And they done manipulated the people like it's good for you. Straight up. We know that liquor crushes your insides. We know that, right? But people still rush and go buy it every week. People still drink it every day. People still have to celebrate. Think about this, right? We celebrate with poison. Pop a bottle. The celebration is poisoning yourself. When you achieve something and you accomplish something, you celebrate by poisoning yourself. Man, I'm ready to go pop a bottle. I'm ready to go get that Henny. I'm ready to get that Patron. I'm ready to get lit. Why do you got to celebrate with poison? There ain't no other way, but this is what they pushed on us, right? And the people you go get it from, they don't even drink that shit. They don't drink that shit. Them people that own the liquor stores, they don't drink that shit. But you got the people rushing to the store to get it. They ready to get lit. Huh? Man, I just passed this test. Man, I just got a promotion at my job. Man, I just got some extra money. Let me poison myself to celebrate. They done legalized the bud. Straight up, they done legalized the bud. Legalized it now. And niggas really think that shit is bud. That's what's ill. Niggas really think the shit bud. Man, that shit ain't no damn bud, man. Pay attention. You gotta smoke that shit every 20 minutes to maintain a high. You can't see that they changed that shit. That shit don't grow the same. It's different. The seeds that they got is different. Everything is different about this shit. You know, as time goes on, right? Everything changes. And they find a way to create shit faster. They got to, because there's more people being born. The food, 95% of the food we eat, GMO, this shit is fake. We eating fake food every day. Shit tastes good and it's fake. Genetically modified shit. We eating genetically modified food that they creating in labs and shit, and we eating this shit every day. You know, but certain things, right, like that, people don't want to think about it. They don't want to think about it because it's too real. That's what's happening. You know, understanding, right, man, they don't care about human life. The world doesn't care about human life. They care about the world turning. They care about the agenda to keep going. They don't care about if you live or die. They don't care about that shit. Straight up. This shit I'm saying is real rap. They don't care about if you live. They don't care about if you check out. They don't care about that shit. Man, y'all see what happened in 2020? And they was throwing niggas in the back of truck trailers. Straight up. They don't care about the life, man. You know, but it's mental. They got the politicians that they put in front of us, right? And people think that they for us, man. It's a job. And they got to go with the agenda of the job. See, and that's what I'm telling y'all, right? Yeah, Trump do some crazy shit, but Trump ain't go with the damn agenda. That's the thing. They got to go with the agenda. When you get those type of jobs, you got to go with the damn agenda. If you don't go with the agenda, hey, we got to get you out of here. Straight up, you got to go with the agenda. That's the only way you get the job. You know, behind the scenes, they telling them, yo, you know what it is. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, this shit been going on for years. This is why we start seeing now all of the things coming out about what's been going on. They gave the world an opportunity, right, to see. But there's going to be a lot of people that don't appreciate the opportunity because they're so used to the agenda. They're not going to appreciate the world getting the opportunity to see how this shit is messed up. We all got to see it. Everybody here now got to see it, and you're going to be able to tell the grandkids, kids, you know, later on in life about how this shit was, you know, because you got to see the shit. But everybody ain't going to understand it. And what they going to do, right, after Trump gets out of the office, they going to reprogram the shit. Straight up. They going to reprogram the shit. And it's probably never going to be somebody to get back into office to be able to enlighten people about certain shit, because this happened this way. We got to see certain shit. Shit ain't what they said it was. You know, these people get to certain positions, they don't care, man. You know, yeah, you want to go out and vote, but you understand that the people you vote for really don't care. It's a job, man. It's an accomplishment to them, straight up. Now, think about this, right? Everybody, you know, that works towards goals, right? You work towards a goal. Now, and we got to be honest with this, right? Once you achieve that goal, it's like, all right, I did it. Yeah, you get out here and grind. It's no feeling other than trying to get to the goal. But once you accomplish the goal, it's like, all right, okay, I did it. All right. This is the mind trick that they got on us, man. It's a dirty game, man. You know, and you know, I'm at peace in my life. You know, I ain't gonna lie, cut a lot of people off. You know what I'm saying? Destroying my peace. I've been through a lot in my life. So I've cut a lot of people off, and I don't care how you related to me. I don't care about none of that shit. I ain't even gonna lie, because my peace is more important. You know what I mean? My peace is more important to me because I only got one ride, and I understand that. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of people that don't really understand it because they still riding right now. But at the end of that ride, when everything's flashing before you, it's nothing you can do as the ride is over. So, you know, I think about myself as I want to enjoy the ride. Straight up. You know, and I understand that, you know, some people are confused and don't understand, you know. This is a live call-in show too. You know what I'm saying? It's a live call-in show. I understand people can see, you know, and this is one thing that I understood about me doing a live call-in show, right? The people that have, you know, small minds, right? They'll never call in and talk to me. You hear me? It's the ones that just don't care. You know, the ones that don't want to be embarrassed. You know, because you got some of them, they don't want to be embarrassed. They call me, they going to call me and know I just ain't that kind of guy. You're not going to be able to, you know, it don't work with me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you got some of them that, you know, they might be in the chat and they want to say like certain things. I don't know what the hell, you know. But everybody knows whack is them people. Motherfucker said proof. Yeah. What proof do you need? Straight up, let me know. What proof do you need that whack is them people? Yeah. Tell me. Let me hear what you say. Don't say paperwork, though. You say anything but paperwork. Yeah. You think the feds ain't got around that? Yeah. Hey, they worked around that. But, you know, see, a nigga like me, right? I come from the streets, right? Ran the streets at the highest fucking level, right? And been through a lot of shit in the streets, right? Been through a lot of shit in the streets, right? But I left the streets alone. Yeah. And that's one thing that the feds know about Deezy, right? I ain't doing nothing in the streets. Straight up. That's one thing that the feds know about Deezy. You hear me? Straight up. They know Deezy ain't doing a motherfucking thing in the streets. Yeah. And they know I come from the streets. Yeah. But I ain't doing nothing in the streets. And I never do nothing in the streets again. I'm one of the few in the history of life that stopped on my damn own. You hear me? It ain't take me to do 30 years in jail to stop. I stopped on my own.